Go ahead with the order.
Hello. Welcome to another episode of Cheers,
How you doing?
the motherfucking podcast.
It feels good to have good audio again.
It feels good. Don't blame the rain, okay? The rain is the rain, but we got good audio, okay? We're not on Zoom anymore. And it kind of goes with the mood, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna hear the rain, but you're also gonna hear our voices because we got a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
It's been a little crazy. I have a lot of opinions.
I know you do, which is interesting because I feel like you're taking this subject from a very emotional point. So
1,000%, yes.
Yeah, but at the same time you don't see the hard facts sometimes.
I'm really trying to separate my personal emotions, and I will say that as a woman, it's just I don't know anything about zodiac signs, but I'm a Cancer bitch, and Cancers are emotional.
Fuck you and your zodiac signs.
Yeah, fuck the zodiac signs, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and you know what I'm saying?
Shit.
So let me tell you something. Let's talk about we are finally gonna get to talk about child stars, specifically the Nickelodeon scandal that's been going on. We finally watched Quiet on Set last night, and bitch, we gotta talk. We have to talk.
Go ahead, break it up.
All right, so I don't even know where to start, man. I don't even know where to start. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just it's a lot to unpack, for sure. So where do you want to start? Shit.
I mean, you're the emotional one. Go ahead and I'll follow, and
Okay.
then we'll find some middle ground.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning.
Mhm.
We'll start with the very first thing of the documentary, which came with the two women writers.
Yes.
This whole thing about having a very uncomfortable sexual harassment type workplace, them being the only two women in a studio full of men, I understand that. I'm sure a lot of girls have been part of, maybe they were the only women in the room. And you can say that boys will be boys, and boys are disgusting. Like, boys are sexual. Boys think that because you are with other boys, you can make these jokes, like locker room type talk. However, there is a time and a place. And the workplace is not the fucking place. Okay? I'm just gonna start with a very, very obvious thing about how one of the employees was asked to bend down on the table and act like she was having
Backdoor sex.
Backdoor intercourse, yes. And in what world is that acceptable to do that in the workplace? I want to know why it was allowed. I want to know why Dan Schneider thought that was fucking appropriate. Like, yes, he was the boss, but let me put him in that position. Let's reverse the roles. Let's say that the woman is the one calling the fucking shots, and it's a room full of women, and I'm gonna ask some ugly motherfucker to be like, all right, bend down, act like you're having an inappropriate thing happen to you, and give me your pitch. How would that make you feel as a man?
Me as a man, I will definitely draw the line and be like, no, this is too much for me.
Right.
And I hate to play devil's advocate, but I feel like we are always, and I like to use this phrase because I think it really holds everything, the whole reason for the conversation. We cannot judge the ignorance of the past with the knowledge of the present.
Right.
So when we see that the woman that is talking and telling that story is a successful woman, a woman in her probably late 40s, someone that already lived through a lot and experienced a lot and has a lot of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, it was a 20
20-something.
year old
Right.
girl, young, new. She didn't know how the world works, and she was hungry. She was hungry from success. She wanted to work in the industry. That's what she wanted to do. So she was willing to put through that, to follow her passion, to follow her dream, to follow whatever she was chasing at the time.
Right.
So she agreed to that because of that mental state that she had back then. And now, as a 40-something-year-old woman, she looks back on that and she goes like, yeah, that was fucked up and I feel ashamed of it. But talk to any person that is 40-something, even to a 20-something-year-old. If you ask them how do you feel when you were 15, they're going to be ashamed of what they did, of what they say, of how they act. So you cannot, in my opinion, you cannot always talk that much shit about what happened to you in the past, because at the end of the day, you agreed to that. You were dumb enough to do that.
Naive. I don't think it's dumb. I think it's naive.
It's naive and it's dumb as well, in my opinion, because you know to a certain extent that that's bad. Yeah, my bad about that, guys. You know that act was wrong, but you still did it. So you know right from wrong.
Right.
It's your responsibility to know where to draw the line.
I get you, but if that line means getting fired on something that you've worked, let's say they were in their 20s, right? They're starting their careers. Because they did say they were freelancing beforehand. So I'm going to give them 26, 27.
Yeah.
You're still pretty young. You're starting your career. You're figuring out who you are as a person. Like your 20s, especially your early 20s, are full of mistakes, full of really learning who you are and what you're willing to take and what you're not willing to take. However, I would tell you, as me, 24-year-old, I've done some things that have maybe not have been so comfortable for me, but I will do it because it will get me the role, or it will get me
the thing that you want.
It will get me the thing that I want. However, it's up to the superiors to not do that bullshit. Like even if I am, so I'm a performer. I love to perform. And I'm willing to do a lot. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to do a lot of things that are in my boundaries, in my comfort zone. I don't think that I will ever accept to somebody telling me, hey, pitch me your sketch while you're bent down on the table and acting out like you're doing something inappropriate. I'd be like, motherfucker, what's up? However, like I said, you cannot blame the ignorance of the past with the knowledge of today, right? However, it's just like this male persona, this male prerogative has always been so hypersexualized on women. And it's just like, bro, I think that right now in 2024, women have had enough. You know, women are speaking out more. Obviously, we have the Me Too movement. We have the Women's March. We have women speaking up. And obviously, there's a reason why this is now coming into light. However, you cannot tell me that you are not a piece of shit as a human being for asking somebody else to do something so degrading. Would you as a man, let's say, for example, we're doing this podcast right now, you and I. Let's say that we have a team of 10 people. Would you ever say, pitch me your idea for a podcast while you're bent down on the table acting something foul?
I wouldn't.
You would. Why wouldn't you?
Because of my morals, because of the way I was probably raised, educated, because of who I am as a person. But I feel like something that a lot of people fail to understand is that it is wrong what they did, what some people do, but it's the way some people are at the end of the day. Some people are
gross.
Some people are gross. And sometimes those gross people get in a position of power and they abuse that power. And that has always happened, that happening today, and that will continue to happen throughout history probably.
And I think that's so shitty. I think I think that this world in general, no matter if we are in the fucking 20s, 1920s, or we're in fucking 2000, I think that this will always be a part of human history, of men being absolute pigs. But where does let's take education out of the equation, because you're gonna be raised however you're gonna be raised, right? Everybody has their own values. Everybody has their own culture within their families, and you know, just by themselves in general. You're gonna learn from the world. But where does that line just doesn't exist when power comes into play? Is there a line? Is the line in the room with us? Like, what's going on?
You define where the line is, because just like you said earlier, if you were in that position and somebody told you to bend over a table, you would be like, "Fuck no, that's a line for you."
Right.
But maybe the girl after you will be asked the same question. She'll be like, "Yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna do it."
To get ahead.
To get ahead, yeah.
Right.
So the line is where you draw it. Some people are willing to draw it farther than others, and that's just human nature.
Right. But even if it's just human nature, I think if you're gonna be, this is not a fair statement, and I will admit that. But if you're going to be in a position of power, I can't say you need to have like a background moral check, because that's just not gonna be a thing. But how do you, as a person, are willing to humiliate somebody like that? How to degrade somebody like that? Like, what about, maybe it's a power grab thing, like, oh, let me
see how far I can push it.
Let me see how far I can push it, and let me see what people are willing to do for this job. And the thing about, and I think that's so sad, because for us women, and even men, like, I'm not even just gonna compare women. I think right now in the world is so fucking competitive in every single field that you have, whether it's entertainment, healthcare, fucking construction. I'm guessing, you know, like, I'm sure somebody's gonna hammer something better than you are, right? But where do we draw the line of, like, the morality? There's just no morals at all. Like, the fact that you're willing to humiliate somebody is just so, it's scary. It's scary, because from what we've seen from not only just the documentary of Quiet on Set, but for testimonies from Jenna McCurdy, or I can't remember her name, the girl from Zoe 101, or
Britney's sister? Oh no, the other girl.
No,
right?
not even Britney's sister, the girl that played like the flirty girl.
Yeah.
Her and Drake Bell, everything about that is just sickening. It's like, they had their morals, and they said, "Bitch, I'm out." You know, like the Zoe 101 girl. She said, "I'm not comfortable. I'm out." However, when she tried to speak on it, she was not only shunned about it. Nobody paid attention to her until it became a bigger deal. So I think, honestly, I will say, we did watch the interview with Bo, you know, like the aftermath of the Quiet on Set. The fact that it was 19 minutes kind of screams red flag to me.
Who's Bo, for the people that don't know? Because it
Bo,
sounded like Bo the magazine.
Bo is the guy that put the tacos on our iCarly. The tacos on the stick. Okay. Okay? So, if you watch iCarly, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. The guy that put the tacos on the motherfucking stick. Let's just talk about that for a second. That guy is so irrelevant. Like, he was not even a secondary character. He was probably like a fourth character. Like, he was only on a couple of episodes. Like, we know who he is. But at the end of the day, he's not going to be on set every day. So for me, I'm like, out of anybody, why is he interviewing Dan Schneider? Like, out of anybody that has worked with him. Like, he's just so, like, random.
It is.
Like, I don't know who he is besides Bo from iCarly. You know, I'm like, why the fuck do you get to speak to Dan Schneider?
Yeah. I will guess that because he was one of the few adults that was on the show, he maybe felt the need to have an adult voice
Is it
talking
clout?
to him. It can also be cloud though, because
If-
it's something that is very hot right now. It's something that's gonna be spoken for the next couple weeks probably. And my dude is in a hot seat right now. Dan Snyder is definitely getting his ass lit from everywhere, and it could be what do you call that when you do like a stunt interview?
What do you mean?
One of those interviews when the victim or the person that was in blame tries to put their face outside to make it seem more human.
What?
They have like a specific name.
I'm not following you at the moment.
So Dan Snyder is doing this interview to try to
Deflect.
to get the heat down from his ass.
Right.
So he's using this platform to do it. And like you said, it was a very short interview. And I feel like the guy who I don't even know his name. I think you call him Bo.
Yeah, let's call him Bo.
Bo. He didn't push far enough, and it wasn't a long enough interview. And
To really get into it.
to really get the truth out, or at least make him talk enough that he will actually speak the truth.
Right.
Because at some points it looked like he was coach, Dan Snyder.
He was what?
Coach.
Coached? Okay.
Or
Like media training type thing?
yeah, media. Something similar, because there's this specific time when he was talking.
He would look straight at the camera.
Besides that, well, yeah, that's one, and the other one was that he broke down and started crying out of the blue in a very dramatic way. So he was like talking, and he started doing this, and then he continued talking.
Yeah, so random.
So it was really random. That to me reminded me of the Amber Heard case. Whenever she was talking to the jury, and she was telling her story, and then it was something very emotional, and he got into character, and he started crying, and the people were like, "We're not buying this shit."
Right.
So to me, it felt like that. It felt like it was an act. And at the end of the day, this guy is not a podcaster. He's not a interviewer. He's not a sorry to say, but he's nobody in the streaming community
Yeah, like
to have any credentials to interview somebody, especially of this magnitude, because it's a hot topic.
Right.
So I feel like if Dan Schneider really wants to clear his name, and he's not as much to blame as the documentary seems to be, he needs to go on a more serious podcast with more serious interviewer.
Yeah.
And do like an hour, 2 hour topic on this, and really speak his mind and get hard questions thrown at him.
Right.
So he can really open up about it. Because one or two, he's either gonna go down or his name will clear up.
I mean, here's the thing though, like the whole thing about Bo, maybe he is a famous podcaster, which you don't know. To me, I haven't heard of this man ever since I saw him put a fucking taco on a stick. Like, it's just so random. So, that whole interview to me, it was very odd. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's say that you are doing this to get the truth out and to get a little bit of clout, because, to be honest with you, in the mainstream media, we haven't heard about you in years.
Yeah.
And the most thing that you're famous for is fucking putting a taco on a stick. Like let's be fucking for real, right? So, to me, it felt like he was trying to help Dan Schneider out because he was good to him.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, watching the aftermath interview with Bo, I don't necessarily get like that Dan Schneider is like this horrible monster. And no disrespect to like Jeanette McCurdy or Drake Bell or even Ariana Grande, like no disrespect to them, but I don't think he's like this absolute monster. I think that everybody has their demons. I think that everybody has a dark side, and that Dan Schneider's side was fucking children, right? Like whether you want to be abusive to children, whether that's mentally, physically, or sexually, that is your bad side. However, we're all human, right? So for example, you and I could be talking, and you know me very well, but you don't know if I'm a murderer. You don't know if I killed a fucking puppy. You know what I'm saying? That could be my dark side. And let's say that one day you fucking see me killing a puppy cold blooded, you're gonna be like, what in the actual fuck, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you know me, so you're like, okay, that's fucking weird. However, you're still a good, quote unquote, good person with a bad side, right? So it may be a little bit of a hot topic what I'm about to say, but I don't think Dan Schneider is an absolute piece of shit. I think that, like that guy, what was his name? Peck? The last name was Peck.
Brian Peck?
Brian
the
Peck?
guy that
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like for example, even all the kids that were on all that, they were like, what the fuck do you mean that he went to jail? Because he portrayed this persona, and that may be who he is, but he had a dark side. And unfortunately, Drake Bell got the end of it, and you know, it sucks. It sucks that somebody cannot control their dark desires enough to not harm somebody. Like, if you really are attracted to children, which again I don't understand, like I would really love to have an interview with somebody that is attracted to children and be like, why the fuck are you attracted to a fucking minor? Like I'm really trying to understand what could be the possibility of you liking a minor, and my brain just does not comprehend it. So I would love to talk to somebody, and it's like, okay, is it the vulnerability? Is it the
innocence?
Is it the innocence? Is it the power play? Okay, I can maybe understand the power play, but you know what that tells me? It tells me that you're a fucking loser. It tells me that you are a loser who cannot get somebody their age to excuse me for saying this, but to dominate in the bedroom. Because at the end of the day, you are dominating somebody in a sexual way in the bedroom, in an intimate way. Which, cool, I get it. People like what they like. If you're into that power play type shit, cool. Why the fuck would you do that with a minor? Like, they don't have the mental capacity to really understand what's going on. And we see that with Drake Bell. He let this happen for months because he didn't know how to say it. He was afraid. He just hoped one day it would stop, and then one day he snapped and he told his mom. So it's just, I would love to really speak to somebody that is like, alright, bet, like, I'm attracted to children. Alright, help me understand why the fuck. Are you just sick in the head?
I think that, yeah, I'll say that they are sick for sure, because that's not normal behavior. And like you said, yeah, some people let their dark thoughts come into fruition and act upon it. And something that I noticed that I just realized hearing you talk is that, and this might be a little of a hot topic too, but I feel like this documentary is a little misleading, because ever since I heard that this was coming out, they were always promoting it in a way that it was Dan Schneider's fault.
Right.
So to me, when I went in watching it, excuse me, in the back of my mind was that it was Dan Schneider the one who did the fucked up thing, and it was him and him and him and him
and only him
and only him. And all of a sudden, it's 4 episodes in the middle of second episode, I think, or the beginning of third. There's a switch, and they go to this completely opposite person. All right, we're gonna try to go back to it. It was a little interruption because the rain got crazy, and this microphone is very sensitive, so you can still hear it, but not as bad as it was a few moments earlier. But what I was going with it was that it was a little misleading, because it might have like a 180 turn at some point.
Right.
They were talking about Dan Schneider, and they were making all this publicity about him being a piece of shit and him being a piece of shit and all that and all this and blah blah blah. And what you realize at the end of the documentary is that
He's
he
not
wa-
the boss.
huh?
He's not the boss.
I mean, he was boss because he got away with a lot of things, but he was just a shitty boss. We all deal with shitty bosses that they might harass you, they might make you do shit that is not supposed to be your job, or they'll ask too much for you, or they will push you in a way that is mental or physical. So everybody had terrible bosses, and I think that he was a shitty boss. But that was the end of the story. He never raped anybody. He never attacked anybody. Yeah, there was sexual misconduct, but it never went through fruition. So it wasn't.
I don't know if that's true though.
I mean, at least in
I
the
mean-
documentary, it
No,
wasn't.
no. But no. I think that you saying that statement is totally false because Amanda Bynes, the girl said she got pregnant by this 40-year-old when she was 13 years old.
But she wasn't. Did she ever accuse him of rape?
There was never any actual document saying like, hey, this happened to me. I was sexually assaulted. I don't think it was consensual.
Mhm.
I think it was manipulative. I think it was shady.
Okay, but let me
But
put
if
it
you
this way.
want to put it quote unquote as an actual violation, there's no actual documents. However, I don't think that doesn't mean that it didn't happen because we have many
Cases?
not cases, not testaments. What are they called? We have many declarations saying that they were abused.
Many what?
Declarations.
Declaration. Okay.
Yeah, like Amanda Bynes and Jenna McCurdy. They have said, yeah, I had some sort of physical relationship with this man. It might have been, I want to say quote unquote consensual. However, that shit was forced. Like, it was manipulative. It was.
Yeah, that was grooming though.
It's grooming. It's
They were kids.
brainwashing. It's fucked up in all sorts of levels.
Okay, it is fucked up, but what I'm going with this is when you first hear about the documentary, what was it? One, that it was Drake Bell the victim,
Mm-hmm,
and two, Danny Schneider was at fault.
mm-hmm.
That was the whole narrative of the. I keep forgetting the fucking word. Documentary.
Right.
So going into it, the first thing that you see is Amanda Bynes. So she was the victim of this person that is supposed to be the documentary about. So why didn't they talk about her? Why wasn't she in the position of Drake Bell?
Because you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. So they should make the documentary about this guy that did this to Drake Bell instead of Danny Schneider.
But
That
that's
was-
not fair.
It's
That-
not.
That's not fair because that is like a huge piece of the puzzle. You cannot talk about this controversy without talking about Amanda Bynes. Like, you just cannot. Like, she was a key part of this scandal, this treachery. Honestly, like, yes, she got discovered and she got put on Nickelodeon by Dan Schneider and she made a career, and it's nobody's denying that Dan Schneider made Amanda Bynes' career. At what cost? Everybody thought she was crazy. Once she got on Nickelodeon and like started spiraling, everybody thought she was crazy. She was insane. She's on fucking drugs. Cool, let her be on drugs. Why is she on drugs? Like, everybody wants to always pin the woman as, oh, she's being fucking crazy. She's being emotional. Okay, what did you do to make her go that way?
But not only the woman, it's just actors or artists in the entertainment industry. Because that has happened before. It happened to her, it happened to Britney Spears, and we didn't know until years later that it was, I believe, her dad, right?
Right.
The one that was manipulating and doing all the crazy shit that pushed her to that extreme. We have the Kanye West case, where he started going into craziness and people were talking shit about him. So it doesn't only happen to women, it's more
It's more common.
exposed. It's a bigger exponent when it comes to women because they seem like
The crazy ones.
the crazy ones, but also
because we're emotional.
men can seem as crazy. So it wouldn't be fair to just say it was mostly women. I feel like it's the people in power pushing these people that are coming uppers, and unfortunately, is the way the fucking industry has always worked. You can go back to the 60s and hear about Marilyn Monroe. She went through some similar shit, and that was before our lifetime, many fucking years before our lifetime, and it was the
Right.
same shit.
And she was painted as the dumb blonde.
Exactly. So it's the way the industry works. So if we want to fix this, it should be from within.
Not even from within, but like I think that we just need to change the perspective. Not honestly in the fucking world. Okay, like let's put in the facts. Yes, women are more emotional. Yes, women are more theatric, if you want to say. We're gonna make more noise as far as like the dramatics go, right? However, I feel like it gets so deflected. Why we are to that point? What made us get? We're not crazy just because. We're not emotional just because. Let's talk about like, for example, if you're in a relationship and your man's is treating you like shit, right? And you snap. Now you're painted as a crazy one. Okay, you didn't. This person has done X, Y, and Z that has fucked me up mentally, emotionally. Therefore, I'm snapping. So don't fucking blame the woman for acting crazy. Like for example, like Amanda Bynes, like whenever she went off on a Twitter rant, like right when she started like spiraling, her tweets were crazy. She was tweeting Drake, she was tweeting Rihanna, she was tweeting everybody like on some crazy ass shit, and everybody thought she was crazy. Okay, cool. Let's look at her mindset. She has been abused for years. She has been groomed for years. This was her snapping point. She said, I want to get this shit out, even if it's via Twitter. I need to tell somebody. Even if they don't believe me, I need to get it out of my system. And I understand that. Like, even social media is definitely not the right way to go about it and not to tell your truth. But as a child star, trying to get emancipated from her parents, having this success, having all this money, there's no sense of real, like, ground. There's no sense of center within.
You mean for the actors, for the child actors?
Yeah, for example, for Amanda Bynes, that's what I'm saying. Like, all this success, all this money has come at a price of grooming and being violated. Therefore, your center of gravity gets thrown off 1,000%. Because you have all this, it's excess. It's excess of things. Excess of money. Excess of fame. Excess of success. Equals excess of mental abuse, sexual abuse. It's too extreme on both ends. And when you have two extremes, your center of gravity gets thrown off. Where do you ground yourself? And are like, okay, yes, I have all this money, but I'm being fucking abused. What's it for? You turn into drugs, you turn into alcohol, you turn into self-destruction to numb the pain, right? And
But why does it always have to be negative? Why can't you say that, okay, if this fucked up thing is happening to me, I'm gonna go to therapy, I'm gonna, I don't know, work out, I'm gonna speak up about it so this doesn't happen again, and then I can reveal that I'm the victim?
because you've never been violated.
No, I haven't been, and I'm not saying that I'm putting myself in their shoes, but if your logic is that their only escape is doing something negative, why not look for something positive instead?
Because all of this, because of, like I said, like all of the excess of I don't know if excess is the right word. Like all of these, you have such an overflow of extremities, right? Money, fame, power. Where do you look? Where do you turn to look? And it's like, okay, let me slow down, right? You could get away from the industry, but that's all you know. And I can only imagine as a 20-something-year-old, your early 20s are fucking shitty already. Like, you're trying to figure out who you are as a person. And if you are dealing with that trauma as a 20-something-year-old, while you're trying to figure your shit out, it's just so out of whack. So out of balance. It's just, honestly, it's not fair. Like, it is not fair. You have all this fame and money. And to me, it just doesn't seem worth it. Like, Amanda Bynes today, she's trying to get, like, her cosmetologist license. Or, like, something, I don't know if it's cosmetology per se, but I know it's something to do with beauty. So she has completely stepped out of acting. And she's like, alright, babe, like, I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna do something normal. But how do you... obviously, we're not in that position, therefore we will never know. But how do they, as megastars, children megastars, they're already famous. Everybody knows their face. Everywhere you go, you're gonna be known. And I feel like that's a shitty feeling. Like, and I'm gonna put this in an example. The Jersey Shore people, like Sammy and Ron. I honestly hate that they're still pushing the Ronnie and Sam storyline.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch! I could not imagine having that as my persona, my identifier. Like, yeah, I was the bitch that was abused. That must take a whole mental toll on you. How do you live with that? Saying, like, okay, everybody knows me. Yes, I was on the Amanda show. I was the star. I was the absolute breakout star. But that all goes under the radar because everybody knows that I was violated. For example, Sammy. Everybody knows that I was in this abusive relationship, and 10, 15 years later, I don't know how many years it's been, 12, 15, 20, I don't know.
At least 10 for sure.
Let's say 10, 15 years later, I'm still being asked the same thing that I had a traumatic experience with. I don't want that. Like, think about whenever you were in high school and you had a shitty relationship, right? You obviously it's kids stuff, you know, like you only know so much when you're in high school, but let's just say that your parents didn't like each other, right? Like your partner didn't like you with your partner's parents didn't like you being with them and vice versa, right? It's like, okay, I don't want to think about that when I'm in my 30s. It's gone. It's in the past. It happened to me, and I don't want to think about it ever again. But because I'm famous, that is always going to be tainted on my image. That's so fucked up.
It is fucked up. And I feel like the reason that happens is because we are addicted to drama as an American society. Probably just as humans. So whatever looks like pain, whatever it's morbid, that's what attracts eyeballs.
Right.
And in this case, it gets bigger. And it's usually the thing that haunts you because it's the thing that made you famous in the first place. So, for example...
Not even, though. What made her famous in the first place was being the breakout star on Nickelodeon.
Okay, but you're talking about that, and you just give me the example of Sammy. Yeah, so I was going for that, though. Because I want to give you another example. Kim Kardashian. Everything that she has done, she's become a model, she's an influencer, she became a lawyer. She's been doing all these amazing things. But the fact that what made her famous was a sex tape, that's never gonna die down because that's what she was known for in the first place. So that's the thing that people at the bottom of their brains remembers her for. The shittiest thing in your life.
But Kim Kardashian has turned it around.
Yeah, but she's still known. Every now and then she still gets reminded of that. Like at the bottom of her fame is that. For Sammy, it's the same thing. At the bottom of her fame, she is who she is, and she has all this money. She's well known. Everything good that came in her life was because of this very negative thing that happened to her in the past.
Right.
Which is what made her famous. Same thing for the other girl, Snooki. because she was such a dumb girl. That's what made her so famous. So now that she's a grown woman with kids and everything, she's like, yeah, I was fucking stupid back then. But that's what made her the woman that she is and the smart woman that she probably is right now.
Right.
So same thing for Amanda Bynes.
It's honestly, I feel if there's somebody that I really feel bad for, it's her. Like,
Amanda?
yeah, Amanda. Like, it's just shitty what happened to her. It's shitty that she got allegedly she got pregnant by this man and had an abortion at a teen age, right? But okay, let's step away from Amanda Bynes for a second because there's a lot more, right? Let's talk about this fucking Victoria's cast. I'm so salty that nobody has stepped up. Nobody has made a peep. And the Victoria's cast is when they really push the envelope on the sexual innuendos and just really pushing the boundaries of what's allowed on kids' TV. However, I'm gonna go back to your point that you said earlier. Yes, Dan Schneider was the creator. However, he had bosses above him. He had executives. People had to sign off on this. So it's not just on Dan Schneider. I think that people, maybe not people, but I think that that's something that the documentary definitely didn't highlight. I think it's definitely unfair because this is not a one-man show as they made it seem on the documentary. Yes, he's a golden boy. He's the one with the ideas, quote unquote, because he had writers, you know. Like this is not just of the mind of Dan Schneider. And at the end of the day, there were male writers. Like male writers, cool. Like I get boys will always be boys, but because boys will always be boys, the line does not exist, and that's so sad. And honestly, Miss Ariana Grande, I need you to speak the fuck up. I need Elizabeth Gillies to speak the fuck up. I need Evan Jogia to speak up because
Who's Evan Jojo?
the Middle Eastern dude,
Oh, okay.
the with long hair.
Yeah.
I need them to speak the fuck up. I need Jerry Trainer to speak up. I need Miranda Cosgrove. I need Nathan Kress to speak up because
Speak about what? What are you?
I need them to speak up about this behavior. Okay, cool. Let's say that Dan Schneider was a piece of shit on the set and he was mentally abusive and he was asking for employees to give him massages and shit like that. Okay, cool. Why are the biggest stars not talking? Is there an NDA in place? And if there is, I get it, you know? It's entertainment business. NDAs are very much a thing. And even Jeanette McCurdy said on her memoir, she said that she got offered like $30,000 to never speak on it, and she's like, "Fuck no, this sounds like hush money to me." That's actually like verbatim what she said, and I don't feel like it's fair for the actual victims to speak up. Like for example, Amanda Bynes or Jeanette McCurdy. I'm not surprised that they're not on this documentary at all because they're the ones that. From our perspective, they got the absolute worst of it. So therefore, they probably don't want to relive it. The trauma is just too much. The pain is just too much.
They think they got it worse than Breakup?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know, but I'm talking Dan Schneider specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
What happened to Drake Bell is absolutely disgusting. Like we saw the court documents. Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. But on Jeanette McCurdy's book, she talks about how mentally abusive it was, and obviously, not just that happening in her life, but like her mom being like super abusive. Like, unfortunately, Jeanette McCurdy has been through it, right? Are you really telling me that Miranda Cosgrove never knew about the abuse? Are you really telling me that Nathan Kress never knew about the abuse? And not even just that. Let's talk, like that's the iCarly cast, right? Let's talk about the Victorious cast. There are a lot of videos coming out now that Ariana Grande and Elizabeth Gillies specifically, they're still like BFFs today. Amazing friends. But you can see that Elizabeth Gillies is always like, hey, like watch out, Dan Snyder's coming. Close up your legs, or like stand up straight, or like just be aware that this man is coming, right? On the low, I feel like Miss Ariana Grande had to do with the bullshit. I feel like some actors on this network definitely knew that getting ahead meant sleeping with somebody, or doing some sort of favors, quote unquote, to an executive or like an upper up or like somebody that can make their careers. Because where the fuck are these parents? Where the fuck, like, where are the parents? Like, would you allow any of this shit happen to your child? If you saw, let's talk about like the Ariana Grande thing with the water bottle. If you saw that as a parent, what would you say?
Yeah, I will absolutely flip my shit. And I feel like I want to make this point, and that I think we speak about this on the previous podcast. We might have. Actually, the one that we ended up not doing. But I just say that it goes back to the education of the parents. Because I'll give you an example. This is going a little outside the square, but I think it's a good example. Was the girl from the Harry Potter movies,
Watson?
Emma Watson. Okay, so she was a kid actor as well, and she became super famous as well at a very young age. And because she had a good parents and good guidance, she saved her money. She never got into bullshit. She went to college. She achieved everything that she wanted to achieve, instead of having to go through all this drama.
Right.
And that, the way I see it, that happened because she had a good backup. In this case, probably their parents or her parents. And that's something that doesn't usually happen on this side of the land, you know.
Yeah.
We can see it on the case of Drake Bell specifically. His dad was all for it, and he was always protecting him. But then Destiny happened, and he went with the mom, and the mom was like, "Yeah, fuck it. If he's gonna do it, he's gonna do it." And she didn't realize, because she didn't put the time in it.
She didn't protect him enough.
She didn't protect him enough because she didn't put the time. Because she didn't want to say it. She didn't do nothing in his career, for his career.
Right.
That will activate the red flags that were all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way, it's the parents' fault.
Right.
Going back to your example, the parents of Ariana Grande probably didn't say nothing because one of the two, they knew the cost that it was to be in the show business, or they were just oblivious to the situation, just like Drake Bell's mother.
I mean, some parents really are willing to do anything, and I even said this in the JoJo Siwa episode. Her mom said, "I am determined to make JoJo a star, whatever that means." You know, whether everybody has their own personal morals and where they draw the line. But again, is the line in the room with us? Because the line is not in the room with us.
It's not, though. I feel like you keep trying to draw a line that doesn't exist. Because like I said, some people push it farther than others. And where you draw the moral compass, or where your moral compass is not where everybody else's is.
Right.
Some people may have it before yours, some people may have it after yours. So you're trying to judge other people based on your beliefs.
Okay, maybe to a certain point, yes, I will admit that. But I would never think of any sort of sexualization of a minor. It's okay.
It's not, but
And
that's a line that some people is willing to
cross.
not even to cross. It's just something that is within their limits, within their moral limits.
Right. I mean, because here's the thing. Like, for example, I really want to bring up Ariana Grande because she's nowhere to be seen on this shit. She dropped a new album. It's fire. You know, like I'm a really big Ariana Grande fan when it comes to her music, right? However, her silence has been very noticeable. Hers and Elizabeth Gillies, in my eyes.
Elizabeth is the girl from Victorious?
Yeah, is the girl from Dynasty.
Oh, okay.
That's Elizabeth Gillies.
Okay.
That's
the really white chick.
Yeah, them two are like best friends.
Okay.
So Elizabeth Gillies is actually married to somebody that I think I don't know if it's an executive or like somebody that has to do with Victorious. My man was 36 at the time, and she was 16 when they met. They ended up dating, obviously, when she turned 18. Like, they went public, and then they got married. And she's probably, like, what, 29, 30? She's definitely not more than 32. So, that means her man's is, like, 50. Which, I'm not even, like, I'm never gonna shame anybody for wanting to date somebody outside their age range. But when you're talking 1636, it raises a little bit of red flags, right? And let's say, okay, cool, like y'all ended up being compatible and you were fucking with each other and like it just ended up being a good match. Cool. The shit that they were willing to do on the show just makes me think that they were willing to do a lot more behind the scenes.
Meaning the sexual innuendos?
Yes.
Okay.
Because like Ariana Grande, like the feet thing, the potato thing, the water thing, I'm like, she was 16, 17, 18 at the time. She's not dumb. She's a fucking multi-millionaire megastar. She's smart to a capacity, right? And even her music is very sexual. Like she doesn't necessarily, it's like Cardi B that she's like, oh, wop wop wop, right? But she will say like, oh, break up with your girlfriend because I'm bored. Like she will. There's a lot of songs that I'm like, oh, she freaky. Like she a freak for real. She will take, not even about taking your man. She will fuck anybody because she can. And cool, if you look like her and you have the success, fuck it, do it. You know, like you have the power, you have the looks. Cool.
Okay, but hold on. That's saying the same thing that Dan Schneider was doing, because he has the power and he has the kinkiness inside of him. He fucking did it. Just
yeah,
like
but
Arena's
to
doing it.
minors.
I mean, that's where
Minors
he drew the line.
is the line.
For you.
For anybody. Are minors not the line for you?
It is. But my moral compass is not the same as him, apparently. Because
Right.
he was willing to go for minors. I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and maybe for some people, going for someone that is married, somebody that is taken, is a line that they will never cross, and she crossed it.
She crosses it a hell of times.
Yeah.
And she knows it too. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the fact that she's willing to do this shit in very much plain sight, and she's letting us know who she is through her music. Like, yeah, I'ma fuck your man, and what are you gonna do about it? I'm Ariana Grande, I'm gonna do that shit. And honestly, all power to her. Because...
But what is power when a woman is doing it and not when a man is doing it? To me, that seems like it's the same devil with different faces.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that. This is gonna sound shitty, but I'm all for cheating, right? If you're not the one that's cheated. Like, if you're gonna fuck somebody that's in a relationship, but you're single, that's their motherfucking problem. Because that person is willing to cross that line with you. You're free to go. You have no responsibility to anybody.
But you can make the same argument about Dan Schneider. Okay, so this minor is willing to cross the line with me. And if their parents don't approve it, that's their problem. Because they should have taken...
Yeah, but it's a minor.
Yeah, but I mean, she's 16, she's 17, she's somebody that is somehow capable of doing it.
But she's a minor.
Yeah,
I would at least wait until she's fucking 18 till she's fucking legal. Anything under 18, you go to jail. Period.
You do.
And it may be disgusting to maybe do like a 36,
and if you cheat
18.
when you're married and you divorce as a man, you lose half your shit. So I mean, you still lose a lot for some people.
Yeah, but that's the man's problem. Okay, I'm talking like I'm single, and then then somebody that's catching my eye that's taken. If that person is willing to break their partner's trust and be shady and all that, that's their problem. I'm free to do whatever the fuck I want.
But you're part of the problem because you're a
homewrecker.
Yeah, you're making the circumstances for that to happen.
But it's up to the man or the woman, whatever, who is in the relationship to put a stop to it in respect of their partner. That's not the individual's fault.
It
like
definitely
yeah,
is. It's 50%.
it's temptation. It's temptation 1,000%. But you, as a, let's say, committed person or whatever, that's your fucking problem. That's you willing to cross that line. And same thing with Dan Schneider. He knows that these people are underage, and he's willing to cross that line, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's grooming and everything, but you're the one making it happen, and that's fucked up. You're the one that has to that's supposed to be. Let's say Dan Schneider, right? He's the adult. He has the mental capacity to say this is wrong, but I'm gonna still do it anyways. And that's fucked up.
That's the same as saying I'm gonna cheat and that's okay because he's married or she is married.
But you're not cheating. Are you in a relationship? No.
You're part of the. Yeah, you're part cheating because you know that that person is with somebody else, so you know that you have to be the secret, so you have to be quiet, so you have to be careful. You are cheating that stranger. That's like robbing a stranger's money. You're still cheating.
But the thing about the way that I see it.
But the way that you see it is not the way everybody sees it.
Right.
The same thing as drawing a line.
But here's the thing. People want to blame the person that they cheated with. And it's like, I'll be very honest and be like, okay, cool. Like, that's, if you want to ask me, let's say that these people get caught, right? If you want to ask me any questions, like let's say that we get caught by the partner, and the partner starts asking
But you're
questions.
the girlfriend or the
I'm
side
the mistress.
piece?
I'm the side piece.
Okay.
I'm the side piece, right? And we get caught. And if the actual girlfriend, wants to ask me questions, I'm gonna come clean. And I'm gonna tell her straight up, talk to your man. Because your man failed you. I didn't fail you because I don't know you.
But that would be girl code. Okay, you're a girl.
I don't know the girl. That's not girl code.
Okay, so if you see a woman getting beat up on the street, you're not gonna help her because she's not your friend, so it's not girl code that you're gonna help a stranger?
That's different though.
How is that different?
Because somebody's getting beat up.
Yeah, but I mean, she's getting beat up in an emotional way.
Yeah, but that's not my problem.
And it's not your problem that a stranger is getting their ass kicked.
Basically, it's different.
How?
Because
People get beat up and they go to the hospital and they're fine in, I don't know, a month. People get cheated on, they get hurt emotionally, and they commit suicide.
Ooh. Damn, you gagged me with that one. Holy shit. you shut me the fuck up. Ooh, let me take a sip real quick. Let me take a fucking sip of my lemonade real quick. Here's the thing. And I'm gonna keep talking my shit. Here's the thing about that shit. Let's say that I do see somebody get beaten up, right? Will I do something? And I'm gonna say that this is the bystander effect. I don't want to get my ass beat too. I don't know what that man has. I don't know why that woman is getting beat up. I don't know what that man.
And you don't know why that woman is getting cheated on. Maybe she cheated first. Maybe.
But that's your own personal problem.
Yeah.
That's the fact that person decided to commit a fraud in the relationship. That has nothing to do with me. Because let's say that I don't even know that the bitch is getting cheated on. I mean, and let's say, okay, let's put it in perspective. Let's say that I do know that the bitch is getting cheated on, and let's say that I don't, right? If I do know that the bitch is getting cheated on, again, talk to your man. Because you got, obviously, there's something going on in your world that is not working out, therefore your man feels the need to cheat. Now, let's say that I do know about this girl's getting cheated on. Do I want the man? Maybe. Again, that's their problem. Because to me, and this is gonna sound very selfish, yes, 1,000%. I'm getting my needs met for me, not for anybody else, because obviously that man's taken. We're going like way out of proportion here.
Yeah.
But if that man knows, if I know that woman is getting cheated on, and I have no sort of relationship with her, again, talk to your man. It's your business with your relationship, and my business personally. Therefore, deal with your shit on your own, just like I am. I'm dealing with my shit on my own, knowing damn well maybe I'm getting in that part, you know, but there's a reason why you're with that man. There's a reason why you're getting cheated on, and that's that.
And there's there.
And you need to fix that for your own self, because everybody's gonna do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? For example, like Dan Schneider did whatever the fuck he wanted to do, and even the fact that there were already misconducts in his very first show, and the Nickelodeon network just did not give a fuck.
Okay.
Again,
hold on. I want to make that example. Nickelodeon is a side piece, and then Schneider, yeah.
I was just about to say that. I was literally just okay. So Nickelodeon is a side piece. Dan Schneider is the man,
and and the company, which is Nickelodeon, is using Dan Schneider for their needs.
Right.
Yeah, it's the same fucking example.
And even you said last night too when we were watching the documentary, because he is the one that's bringing the fucking money, the executives are gonna let him slide.
Fuck yeah.
They're gonna be okay. Like for example, the women's settlement. Whenever she sued Dan Schneider, and they just settle on it, they give her money, and they said, "All right, go on your way. We're gonna still use this man." Cool. That's the equivalent of saying, "Okay, cool. We got caught. You got caught with a side piece. The side piece is now gone. I'm gonna give you some money, and we're gonna go with another side piece. Like the man's still gonna cheat, and that's fucked up on the network's part."
But you just said it was fine because it's not your problem.
It's not my problem personally.
It's not the network's problem.
It's not the network's problem until it comes to minor. And that's what I'm saying. That's fucked up. I'm not saying that this scenario is not fucked up, because at the end of the day, you are talking about cheating. Yes, it's 1,000% fucked up. However, it's still happening. And the fact that it's happening with minors, it's so sad. It's just, honestly, it's just so sad to me.
And that's the line that you're not willing to cross. That's where you draw the line.
That children is where I draw the line.
That's not where they draw the line. And that's the difference.
But the fact that they are a children's network, man, that's the problem. That's the true problem here.
But they don't look like children. They look like piggy banks. They are the little money makers, and they're gonna get used until they don't make any more money and go in the next one.
Right, and even we said that last night with the very first girl that got replaced with Amanda Bynes. They say you're getting too fat, you're getting too old. Next, that's the entertainment. That's the industry. That's life.
That's life.
That's life at the end of the day. However, again, that line just doesn't exist, and that's ridiculous to me, because you are supposed to be a children's network for children, hiring children, and yes, there are like children labor laws, which obviously they completely neglected, which would be the equivalent of.
But which labor laws do people follow? I mean, even at the place that we work, I'm pretty sure you can name at least a couple labor laws that they just don't follow.
They're supposed to only work. I mean, you know, when I was on Instant Family, I was a girl's double because she was underage. She could only work a certain amount of hours, and I would fill in for her the rest of the hours.
Yeah, but that's happening in any industry. Even in the industry that we're working right now, you can think of the top of your head a few rules that they're definitely not following. I can think of a few of the places that I'm working right now in 5 seconds. So it's not a entertainment industry exclusive problem. It's just a popular problem, just in general. It's a general problem.
But the fact that children are not protected I think that really is the problem here. First of all, I want to know where the fuck the parents at. Like, I couldn't imagine. Let's say that I have a kid one day, and I decide to put that child in entertainment business. You got me fucked up if you don't think I'm gonna be with that child every single second.
But even if you are with a child every single second, you can still push it to be the star and do whatever it takes. Like, let's take the girl, for example, this Jija Wiwa, what was it?
Jojo Siwa?
Yeah, Siwa. Jojo Siwa. her mom literally said, and you told me, I'm willing to do what it takes to make her a star.
Right.
Maybe you don't know, but make her a star is, okay, you're gonna be a star and you're gonna fuck this producer.
Ooh.
And you're not gonna say nothing because we're gonna be stars. And in this family, you do what I say because I'm the mom. So there's that.
There is that, and I guess that we can kind of compare that, for example, like the Ariana Grande situation, because the vibe that I'm getting from Miss Ariana is that she was willing.
I definitely think so, especially because how old were those actors when that show aired? They look
15,
teens.
16, 17.
Yeah, they definitely know what sex was.
Yes.
And actually, I'm glad you went back to that because when that thing aired, I don't know if you remember that, but we used to watch it with grandma, shout out. She was a very religious person. Occasionally she sat with us and she saw the same shows that we watch. Her as an adult, don't you think that she saw it and she was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Then why she didn't do nothing? Maybe it was a different time. Maybe back then it wasn't seen as bad because people weren't exposed as much pornography as we are right now. Anybody right now with a cell phone, even a fucking 8-year-old, can Google porn and she's gonna know what a cum shot is, what a gangbang is, like all these crazy sexual terms. They're gonna know exactly what it is today.
Right.
But maybe 20 years ago, when when that thing first aired, you didn't know what a cum shot was because you, as a person, you never practiced that in your intimate life, so you didn't know that. So it didn't look as bad as it looks now. Because I don't remember anybody telling me, okay, you cannot watch that because that's like dirty.
I mean, okay, it's actually a good thing that you brought up, for example, our grandma, because last time I was in Mexico and I was watching our cousin, little baby cousin, SpongeBob came on, and she was like, change that shit immediately. I was like, what happened? Like, I thought SpongeBob was good. And she explained to me, I was like, I don't want your little cousin watching that because they say the word stupid a lot. I was like, okay, I understand that. You don't want him to learn the word stupid. So some parents do draw the line, and I think that that's fantastic. I wouldn't let a child under 15 watch Victorious because of how many sexual innuendos there were. And this really comes to really parent monitoring what their kids watch. And some of these tween shows are no longer for tweens because they are full on exploiting themselves. They're full on making themselves seem in a way that is just not appropriate for their age. I wouldn't let my child watch that. I wouldn't.
Because you have a different mentality that people had 20 years ago.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like 20 years ago, maybe it wasn't as dirty because nobody really understood what knowledge were in those circles. Because think about it, 20 years ago, it was really hard to use a computer at home. And usually if you were using it, it was in the living room, in the anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere that was like a common area in the house. Nowadays you go to the bathroom, you spend 20 minutes there, and you're looking at porn, and then you are for a hell of a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
So you're definitely seeing with different eyes now that it was seen 20 years ago.
But this wasn't 20 years ago. This was 10 years ago.
What?
Like the Victorious shit.
Yeah, and a lot of things happened 10 years ago. 10 years ago, being gay was being as a very negative thing. Now it's a very empowering thing.
Right.
Things change in a very dramatic way, and sometimes in a very short amount of time.
Right.
Because I don't have any recollection or memory of anybody but telling me not to watch Victorious.
Yeah, definitely not.
And I'm pretty sure that we watched it with adults back in the day. Maybe not every single episode, but definitely there were some episodes when parents were involved. And nobody ever said anything.
Right. I mean, I do agree that things changed. Things changed very quickly. However, it really comes down to the morality of the person. What they're willing to expose their kids to. It's kind of like what we were talking about last week too, the whole transgender thing. Like, okay, cool, you want to be transgender, let's really talk about what that means. But you don't have the mental capacity to talk to me about it when you're 10 years old. You do not. The thing about it is that these shows are on kids' networks, and at this point, yes, the parents should definitely be very aware of what their kids are watching.
They should, but they're not, and that's what the parents' fault. How many, especially go to a restaurant, any restaurant, how many iPad kids do you see while you're eating there?
Too many.
And that's the root of the problem. Parents are not fucking involved. You see a kid turn a little tantrum, and instead of educating him or her to be a behaved kid, you're like, here, take the fucking iPad and leave me the fuck alone, because I'm on my phone too,
Yes.
on my own little world. So that's the adult's problem, and it's the parents' mistakes passing down to the children.
Right. I do agree on that. I definitely agree on that. It's just, I think that we have been consumed by technology so much. The thing about it, my personal opinion is that from let's even say 2000 to 2024, that's 24 years.
That's a whole life.
That is a whole life, but the way that technology has advanced, I think is too fast for our own good. We don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to control it, because at the end of the day, the internet is forever, right?
Or so they say.
Everything that goes on the internet stays on the internet forever.
Internet has been around for 30 years plus. We don't know what's going to happen in 100 years.
Right. We don't know. But what we do know today is that the technology has advanced too fast for us to even fathom. Like, we don't, like, how many, like, have you ever seen those, I usually watch these videos on Facebook, but you ever seen those videos on people that work, like, for Facebook, and they're in charge of approving videos to, you know how whenever you upload a video, it takes a minute because they gotta make sure that it's, like, okay. So there was this one guy, and he's, like, masked up, voice distorted, like, no idea who it is, right? And he talks about how the internet has...
censorship?
Yeah, the censorship.
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, he talks about how fucked up it is, how fucked up people
are. Because they are the ones.
And they're willing to share that on the internet, like, self-harming, not, let's say self-harming, fucking other people harming, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and the fact that somebody has to watch that is just too much freedom on the internet. Like, we really can put anything on the internet.
Yeah, we can.
On TV, apparently, too. So there's no, I don't know if the answer really here is to make laws about things like this, but I think that technology and TV and the entertainment industry as a whole is changing too fast for our own good, and we don't know how to handle it. Just like people don't know how to handle power. Once you get a lot of power, like even the documentary said, you're gonna fly too close to the sun and you're gonna get burned. And I think that's what's happening now. I think that all of this shit coming out in 2023, 2024 is because we haven't been able to put a stop to it. And now it's coming to light how fucked up it really is.
Put a stop to how fast we're going, or the darkness of humanity? What do you mean?
Put a stop to what's acceptable.
It depends on you. I mean, that's going back to the same argument of where you draw the line. You can literally be into anything, and you will always found a niche in which it will be accepted. So if you're into kids, you're gonna go into internet, and you're gonna find a whole community that is into it.
I just don't understand.
And
that.
if you like cats, then you're gonna find a whole community that's into cats. That's how extreme the internet is, because that's how extreme humans are.
I'm weak. I'm weak and I'm disgusted. It's just too much, man. It's just, honestly, it's too much to fathom. It's too much to think about. It's honestly stressful. Because it makes me think of, like, okay, is this really... Not is this. It's when this happens again.
It's probably happening as we speak.
It's,
As you listen to this podcast a day, a month, a year from now, it's probably happening.
and
Abuse will always exist.
And the only thing that I can blame is the morality of people, because you're only going to accept what you allow. Wait, does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense.
It does.
You only accept what you allow, right? So it's just like, you have to make sure. Hold on, I was gonna say you have to make sure you have a good
Moral compass.
not even a moral compass, because I was gonna go into family, but your family can be a piece of shit too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have horrible parents and you can turn it around for you, but it's just like, I think that we can all agree that the line is the kids. Like, protect the fucking kids. Like, and if the parents are not protecting the kids, nobody is.
But it also needs to be the adults, because if you say protect the kids, how will you protect the kids if the adults don't want to protect them? So let's put the example of the LGBT community. Some people say that protecting the kids is allowing them to have a sex change operation at 10-year-old, and some people say that it's not. So where do you draw the line? You know, like, where is protecting the kids?
The line does not exist.
What protecting the kids means exactly?
Oh, I'm stressed.
Some people, I think that most of the time, good people doing bad things for a cause that they believe is right.
Right.
You know?
But child molestation shouldn't be one of those things.
Some people don't see how wrong it is until society tells you that it is wrong.
I mean, even on the court case, it said, I don't remember his name, the very first dude, the one that looked like a Nebraska-looking motherfucker. Him, he even said on his deposition, like, yeah, I can't control it. I don't know what it is.
Some people know that they have a demon inside of them. Like, Dahmer was another case. He knew that Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh.
He knew that what he was doing was wrong. Killing these people, it was wrong, but he just couldn't control it. Ted Bundy was the same. It's just an instinct that takes over you.
And that's the real scary part.
You know, that's just the nature of life.
Of humans.
Not even of humans, just of life. We live in a world where killing is the norm.
I don't know if I like that statement.
Why not?
Because that's scary.
It's scary, but it's true. Think about it. Every single living thing kills something to survive.
Right.
They attack something weaker than them to survive. That's just the law that we live through. It's the law of the life, at least in this world.
It's just a fact that some people are really willing to do dark things in order to achieve fame and success and power and money. And then some people are not willing to do that, but they still get dragged into it. For example, Jeanette McCurdy. Yeah, she wanted to have success. She wanted to have
Fame.
I mean, she was already famous, but she even says on her book, like, I just wanted to be good at what I'm at. Like, she wanted to, there's this part on her book where she talks about Ariana Grande missing on the set, and Jeanette McCurdy had to act by herself. Yet Ariana Grande wasn't hanging out with fucking Tom Hanks, and Jeanette McCurdy was like, oh, absolutely not. Like, I want to be hanging out with Tom Hanks because he's an actor. And Ariana Grande was a singer-actor, but she's more of a singer, obviously. And that kind of like threw her over the edge, and that's fair. That's fair. She just wanted an opportunity to do her art. Unfortunately for her, she got corrupted. She got taken advantage of. She got abused. And she didn't ask for that. It's just the fact that people don't ask for this to happen to them. Drake Bell didn't ask for this to happen. You know?
And that's your destiny. Just like what we were talking about with the Spanish couple.
Yep, that's your destiny.
That's your destiny. Sometimes it's for the best, sometimes it's for the worst. Just like you can be at the right time at the right place, you can be at the wrong time at the wrong place.
But can I just say, like, this whole thing about Drake Bell, right? I thought it was very interesting how they went on his story, right? And they were talking about how he got violated and all that stuff. Yet a couple of years ago, he had heat because he was soliciting pictures or some sort of inappropriate behavior from a minor.
Yeah.
And people canceled the fuck out of him. They were like, fuck Drake Bell. And he even went to Mexico. Like, he fled to Mexico to, like, escape, which I get. You know, like, if you need to get away from the country, I get it. Because America is very
Toxic.
unforgiving. The United States is very unforgiving.
It's a very toxic society.
Very toxic. But then, when this documentary came out, and it was talking about his abuse and all that thing, people were like, oh my god, you're such a survivor, bless your heart, all these good things. And I'm like, hold up, he's repeating the pattern of what happened to him. And I feel like people are so, obviously people are gonna believe what they're told, and people are gonna comment on what they see at that moment. Therefore, I feel like people just forgot that this man was soliciting inappropriate things for minors. And even on the documentary, it said that he got settled, he apologized, all that. Which, cool. If you admit you're wrong, I will always commend you for admitting you're wrong, right? You might still be a piece of shit, but if you know that in your head that what you did was fucked up and you hurt somebody, and you can truly change, I will always commend you for that, right? But it was the fact that people weren't raising a little bit more flags on that. Like saying, hey, you're fucking repeating the pattern. Think about what you went through. Think about all the pain that you went through, and now you're doing it to somebody else. That's fucked up.
I can see your point. The only thing is that I don't have enough information about the case, because for what I remember, and I might be wrong, this happened with somebody that was way older, you know, like 16, 17, somebody that was a little more mature.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying, let's protect the kids. Technically, a 17-year-old kid is still a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are 17-year-old and 363 days old, you're a kid. And then one day passes and you're 18, you're an adult in a day, like, that doesn't really change. So I don't know how old was he at the time and how old was she at the time, but for my understanding is that she was old enough to almost probably pass as an 18-year-old, and during the whole situation he realized that she was a minor. So that's when the problem really got big. Not because she was like a kid, but because she was an underage teenage girl and he was an adult.
Right.
So I feel like that's a whole different conversation instead of saying you're doing the same pattern, because the pattern with he was that he was very physical abuse when he was a kid,
Right.
when he was way younger than that, and what he did was probably just get confused with somebody that looked older. Allegedly. I'm just saying, I don't have all the facts of the case fresh, but I kind of remember something like that. Because thinking about it, if you see somebody that is, especially girls nowadays, with how much makeup they use, with how sexy they dress, if you see somebody that is 16 or somebody that is 18, sometimes you can fucking tell the difference just by looking. And if that girl is lying to you, if she goes, oh yeah, I'm 18, and she has a fake ID that is good enough to pass through the little machine that checks IDs, you're fucked. Because she's still an underage girl and she's willing to lie. What protects you as an adult from a girl like that?
I feel like that, I understand completely, like, at that point, like, for example, especially if you're, like, at a club or something like that, that is supposed to be 21 plus. Unfortunately, if you are fooled, that is just an unfortunate situation. However, you are not doing it knowingly. Dan Schneider and all these people were doing it knowingly, but these people were minors.
It is, but we're talking about Drake right now.
Right.
What happened to Drake is different than what Snyder did. Because Drake, I feel like Drake was fooled, and because the fact that she was a minor and he was really famous, it exploded. That's the whole reason. Because if he was like a John Doe, it would have been just a small incident that happened in the town, in the city, whatever, and nothing else happens.
Right.
But because he was so fucking famous and she was underage, he fucking blew up into international news.
Right.
That's the only difference.
Right.
To me. But like I said, I don't know the whole case.
I mean, it's just in all ways that you like want to spin this. What happens with these children? It really is so sad. It's just actually not even sad. It's fucking disturbing, man. Because like I said, some people are willing and some people are not willing. And that line gets very blurred, and it just sucks that the people that are not willing are obviously suffering. Because some people, like I said, like you said, actually, their moral compasses are just different, right? But the fact that people with power are willing to hurt minors in this type of way is just craziness to me. Like, it makes me think, like, what really goes on in your head?
Yeah, it's something that is absolutely wrong. I'm not defending it, but I think that it needs to be looked at objectively before
putting the blame on somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, because at the end of the day, Dan Schneider obviously had bosses above him, and everybody signed off on these fucking episodes. Like, they're all sick.
Yeah. And he said something that was really truth. Everything that I did, I had bosses that look over my work and they say, fuck yes, let's do it. So it was his fault for writing it. Yeah, it was a little sick, absolutely. But there's more people to blame for it. And
I do agree on that. I think this is not a one-man show.
No, absolutely not. And unfortunately, because these companies are so big and they have so much money and power, he is a person that is taking the fall for the company at this moment.
Yes.
But we'll see what happens with Nickelodeon in these upcoming months or years.
But even like the crew that they interviewed said, yeah, we can't say anything because the atmosphere is just not for that. And I've been in a work environment where you just can't say anything. Like, it is what it is, and that's that. And it's very uncomfortable. And if he was really making that atmosphere, and he has even said, like, yeah, we'll do shit different. Like I said, I don't get total evil from this man. I think he had a very dark desire, and he let that desire just go free when you
I think that was trauma. Now that you mention, I think that was trauma. Because at the beginning...
From him?
Yeah. Because at the beginning, he said that he was always cast as this goofy, chubby actor, and people didn't respect him and nothing. So that really does a number on you.
Mm-hmm.
So with time, he started acquiring money, fame, power, and maybe in an unconscious way, he abused it because he wanted to be in control for what happened to them, what happened to him years before.
He wanted to get the pretty girl.
He wanted to get the pretty girl that he could never get when he was younger, when he was a nobody. And now that he had a name, he had power, he wanted all the luxury that came with it.
The fact that he was wanting to do it with minors is just crazy.
It's just the fact that those were the people that he was able to control. Because probably on a set, he would have done the same. We have the example of this other guy that went to jail, Weinstein, the Hollywood Harvey Weinstein, the Hollywood producer. He did it with girls. There was a fucking famous casting couch. He fucked an enormous amount of beautiful women because they wanted to go into the movie industry.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? What you just
said? That might have been him if he had the opportunity to work with adults instead of kids. Go ahead.
That kind of reminded me of the argument of he wanted to do with people that he can have power over with, people that can't defend themselves. It very much reminded me of school shootings.
Oh, fuck yes.
People that can't defend themselves.
They want to be in control once in their life. And I feel like I sound like an old person, but that to me goes back to education.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you had a good childhood, a good education, you will be able to see how wrong this is and why it's wrong.
You know what would be interesting to know? What Dan Schneider's parents think.
I feel like it will be more interesting to know how he was raised. Because people can lie. We just watched the interview and he looked very fake in a way.
It looked very much, I'm sorry that I got caught.
Yeah, and it looks staged. To me, it looks staged a little bit.
It's just so... That interview was just weird.
Exactly. And I feel like it would be the same if you interview the parents. They would be like, oh yeah, we didn't raise it this way, we didn't do this, it wasn't our intention when... Like this is not our baby Dan when we were raising him. But at the end
Kind
of
of
the day,
like the Peck dude.
yeah.
All them letters.
But you need to see in which environment he was raised and with his parents, with school, society. There are a bunch of factors that affect the way you behave in your
Right.
adulthood. So I think that more interesting than talk to the parents and see what they think about it. It will be interesting to see in which environment he grew up in, so we can fix our environment.
Right. I mean, not even just like the environment. Well, like it goes with a lot of parts. Like you said, like the trauma of him like being casted as a fat dude and never being able to get the girl. That's definitely repressed anger, right? And repressed desires. However, like you said, I want to know how he was raised. I want to know what the parents think. I want a real interview. I want the children to speak out. I want Ariana Grande to speak out. Like I said, I want all them people to speak out because their silence is loud. And I think that is such a red flag. And even if you're, like, for example, like let's say that some people are willing
to speak out or what?
Yeah. Like, let's say, yeah, I was willing to do X, Y, and Z to get ahead. And that's that. I'm like, cool. I will respect you 1,000% more if you're telling me that you were willing and it was consensual. But it's just not fair to the people that are just not willing. And it just seems like the people that were not willing suffer the most, obviously. You know?
But I think it's human nature not to put yourself at risk. So let's put Ariana as example. She is world famous. She has all these tours, all this money, all this fame. She created this persona that is worth millions of dollars, and she's accustomed to a life of luxury.
Right.
Is she willing to put all that risk because she say, okay, yeah, I fucked this guy when I was 14 because I wanted this life today? I don't think people will be willing to risk all that just for this little lie.
But I think that's fair. I think that is fair to say, yes, I was willing to do that. Because you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of the movie Bombshell. It was about, I don't remember what casting network it was.
It was a newsroom?
It was a newsroom.
Okay,
yeah, and
Kelly something.
Yeah, and it came out that, yeah, she was like, yeah, I slept with this man to get ahead. Another woman was not willing, and she spoke out about it. And then the last woman was like, damn, I'm kind of put in this position.
But it's a different case, because that was a woman that made the full conscious decision of saying, okay, I'm going to do it. And I'm not saying that she did it, meaning Ariana, but if she made the decision when she was 14 that she wanted to have allegedly sex, and I'm not saying she did, but if she gave her consent to do it back then because she wanted to advance her career, how do you think that's going to look, the fact that a 14, 15-year-old girl did it?
I mean, I think at this point in time in Ariana's career, I would be like, okay, cool, at least you're being fucking real about it, because she's known to be, allegedly, a homewrecker. She's known to steal your man. She's known to do whatever the fuck she wants. And I get it, cool. Be real about it.
But stealing a man is different than being a child prostitute.
That is true. I would still rather you be 1,000% real. Be like, yeah, I was willing to do it, and I did it to advance my career. And look at me now. Do you have my money? Do you have my fame? No, because at the end of the day, nothing's gonna change. She's still gonna have her money. She's still gonna have her fame. However, I may respect her a little bit more because she's being real.
Who knows about the fame? Because especially nowadays, I think a lot of people are addicted to fame. So maybe that's a real kick. Like, yeah, money's nice, but I love when people idolize me, when people throw themselves at my feet.
And people will always idolize her.
Who knows? Because you never know how the public is gonna react.
I feel like it's gonna give the same situation for, like, example, Michael Jackson, when it came out that he was like allegedly like being with all these children and this and the other, and Michael was like, bitch, y'all crazy, like, this is not it.
But that's different because the media was trying to grill him for doing it. He was like, I didn't do it.
Yeah, and people still loved him and adored him.
But it was never proven, and eventually with time it was proven that he didn't do it. So he wasn't. It's not like saying, oh yeah, I was with the children and then you're still gonna love me.
And And that's what I'm saying. Like, the same thing would happen with Ariana Grande. Like, if she were to come out and say, yes, I did this, that, and the other. Me, personally, I like her music. I'm a really big fan of her music. I'm always going to be a fan of her music. As a person, a little questionable. But it's just like, okay, cool. Like, at least she's being real about it.
See, okay, I'm gonna give you this other example. Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He said he didn't do it, and people didn't believe him, and he got canceled the fuck out. Even the people that like him, there were very few that supported him back then when everything was happening, and his career took a plumb.
Right.
So
But he bounced back.
He bounced back because he wasn't lying, and
he proved his innocence.
He proved his innocence, and in this case, she is guilty. So that's a whole different scenario. If you're guilty,
I feel you.
If you're guilty, the public may not always react positive to it because you're an idol and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're guilty, people are gonna be like, you know what, you're a piece of shit, and I don't like you. So I feel like it's a whole different ballgame if you're right and you're wrong.
Yes, I agree. It could definitely tarnish her career and just, all that. All right.
Yeah, it's been a long episode, so let's wrap it up.
It's been a very long episode. I know we went a little bit all over the place, but this is just craziness. Absolute craziness.
Yeah.
Y'all be a good motherfucking person. Don't be harassing no goddamn children.
Or anybody in general, the fuck?
Yeah.
No women, no men, because men get harassed too.
Yes, as
and
we
it's
saw.
Very uncomfortable.
As we saw in the fucking documentary, just be a good fucking person, man. Like, there's no need. If somebody, no means no. Okay? If somebody's fucking uncomfortable, leave them the fuck alone and go find somebody who finds you attractive and wants to fuck you. Willingly.
Or for money.
Or for money. But willingly.
Yeah. Just be good people. Don't do crazy shit and be respectful. Be educated about it so you learn, so you can see the difference between right and wrong. I feel like.
This was definitely a very long episode, but this is, like I said,
something that needed to be talked.
We've definitely had a lot of conversations about this, and it's
a strong opinion.
It's a strong opinion, and it's just those types of conversations that it really spans into other conversations. So I know we went a little bit over the place today, but
if you stick to the end, thank you so much because it was a big rambling.
Yes.
Of almost 2 hours, which is crazy.
But I'm sleepy.
And thank you so much for listening.
Yeah.
If you made it to the end, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for listening.
And let us know.
Share our podcasts.
Please.
Please.
Pretty please.
Pretty please.
Because we're nice.
Share. You know, we have a lot of opinions, and everybody's obviously entitled to their opinions, but conversations like these just really are fucking fulfilling.
And now what needs to happen so we can understand each other better and be better people. And let us know in the comments though. If I'm wrong in something, call me out on my bullshit. Let me know why I'm wrong and give me your opinion. And if she was wrong on something, let her know. Let us know.
Don't let me know.
Let her
I
know.
want to be Delulu. I'm right, and that's that.
She's part of the problem, people.
And I was gonna say that's part of the fucking problem. Tell us your opinion. What do you think about all this craziness? Like, is it? If you only put craziness in the comments, that's enough for me.
Let us know where you draw the line, because I'm very interesting. Talking to you, it's interesting where people draw the line. I feel like for you it was a topic where you definitely drew the line, and once you draw the line, you cannot see past it.
Yeah.
So I think it's a very interesting topic that I didn't know we were gonna touch, and we just kind of stumble upon.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a very interesting topic. So let us know where you draw the line.
What is your line, or does the line does not exist? So thank you so much for listening, guys. We will see you on the next one. Hopefully it won't be such a long episode, but it was a lot to talk about. So again, thank you so much for listening to Cheers, the podcast. And we will see you guys on the next one. Cheers.
Peace, people.